Hello, my name is Mary, and my channel is all about choosing you and creating a life that fits you now. And today I'm going to talk to you about how I spent Christmas and New Year's here in Portugal alone. And that was intentional, that was by choice. So let me talk to you about what my experiences were for my first holidays here in Portugal. So initially, I was thinking about going to Paris for the holidays. I had researched hotels, I was looking at flights, and I had narrowed it down to like maybe 2 hotels, and I was ready to book the hotel. And then I was thinking, and I was like, Mary, do you even feel like getting on the plane? And actually, I didn't. I didn't feel like, going to an airport. I just didn't feel like all the holiday hassle that came along with traveling. So I put that to a side. So I decided to do a staycation here in Porto. So I decided to spend New Year's Eve at the Yeatman Hotel, which is a 5-star hotel here across the bridge in Vila Nova de Gaia. And I also decided to sign up for their, I think it was like a 7-course Christmas Eve dinner. It's like this big special chef's dinner that they put on just for the holidays. So I decided to do that as well, to just go all out for the holidays. So I booked the hotel room, and I packed the overnight bag and caught the Bolt, which is same thing as Uber, car over to the hotel. And once I got to the hotel, it was kind of like like a bell. I don't want to call him a bellhop. Maybe he was a doorman because he had the hat on. And he immediately came down to the car. He opened the door and, greeted me. He went to the back and somebody else went and got my luggage. So it was like the first impression, the curb appeal was on par. It was really nice. So I had to walk up these steps to the hotel, and he greeted me, took me over to the desk area where I could check in. And so I sat down and gave him my name and checked into the hotel. And of course, they already had my bag. They must have went straight up to the room to put my bag in because I didn't spend too much time in the lobby. I think they offered me some wine, I believe, some port wine. So I think I declined it because I don't really drink, and that port wine is kind of strong. So, but first impressions were really good. It was very nicely decorated for the holidays, and I just thought, oh, this is going to be just a nice, relaxing experience, right? So I also decided to, once I went to my room and check out my room, I decided to walk around the hotel and take like a little tour. So if you want to see the tour of the hotel, that's a whole nother video. I will attach it to this video. So after you listen to my story, you can go watch the tour of the hotel. So I did that and walked around and saw like the pool area because I decided that I was going to get a massage while I was there because I had a late checkout. I didn't have to check out till 4 o'clock the next morning. So I wanted to get a massage on Christmas Day. That's how I was going to spend my Christmas. So I went looking for the spa, and the hallways were wide. I'm going to call it like an old school luxury. Although they had a beautiful big Christmas tree and they had your grand staircases, and you'll see all of that. It was sort of a wow, but not like a wow wow. you know. It wasn't as grand as I was thinking it was going to be. Some areas looked more refreshed than others. I think the hotel has been there for a while, so maybe some of it might need to be a little refurbished. But overall, very clean. Customer service is outstanding. Very, very good customer service. So I found the spa area. I booked my appointment, and then I went and walked around a little bit outside. It was kind of cool outside. Beautiful outdoor space, so I can see that it would be a nice hotel to spend some time at when the weather was a lot nicer, because they had beautiful views of the Douro River. So really nice places to sit out. And they had a really nice relaxation spa area. They had, a seating area with nice views. They had a large indoor pool. And the day I was there, nobody was in the indoor pool. It was completely empty. They had spa, dry and wet spa, saunas. And I would probably go back for the massage. But anyway, let me keep talking. So I went back to my room, and dinner was not till like 7:30. They eat late here, and so I was like, oh, this was about 3:30, maybe going on 4, and I was like, I don't think I can last till 7 to get like something to snack. So I looked at room service and decided to just order like a cheese toast sandwich. And because I didn't want something like really heavy. And when the sandwich came, actually I was a little disappointed in the sandwich. They had left it on the grill a little too long. It was a little dark, and it was a little hard, a little dry, and barely anything but 2 pieces of bread. Now, I could have complained, I could have sent it back, but I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just eat around it, and, it'll tie me over to dinner. So I didn't make a big deal about it, but was a little, service came fast, but the way what it was served when they put the plate down, and I was like, this is the sandwich in my head, but I just left it alone. So ate the little sandwich, then I decided to get dressed, and I was torn about what to wear because, I didn't know if people were going to be dressed up because it was New Year's Eve, because the dinner was very expensive. It was like $260, I believe, just outrageously expensive. But it was a, fancy Christmas Eve dinner, right? So I put on a dress, and I had like this, like a fur shawl thing that I was like, oh, I had that and my leopard shawl. And I decided to wear the fur shawl one. And I tell you, I don't know why, but it was the funniest thing because I was like really nervous about wearing this fur shawl. I was like, oh, this is going to be too much, and I was like, oh, I don't want to wear this thing. And I was really hung up about whether or not I should wear this little fur shawl thing or not. But I ended up saying, Mary, it's Christmas Eve. Dress up a little. What is the big deal? Wear the shawl. So I wore the shawl. And I thought it looked okay. I thought it looked pretty cute. You'll see me in the next video. But so I wore the shawl and ended up being on the elevator with actually other English-speaking people that were staying in the hotel. Everybody was going to the same dinner, and so they were saying that I looked nice, and I was saying you look nice, and we ended up taking some pictures by the Christmas tree, and so it started off. It was very festive. Everybody in a really nice atmosphere. And so I just worked the crowd. They were giving out hors d'oeuvres, people were drinking. But once again, I'm not really a big drinker, so I ate a couple of hors d'oeuvres that were being passed around. And I just walked around and went outside and took a few photos and kind of like just came back in and was kind of like people watching, actually. Just people watching. And didn't talk to a whole lot of people. After that, I just kind of like found like a spot, not isolated, but near some folks, but not talking to them. Just kind of like just in the crowd. Sort of waiting for the doors to open for dinner. So there was a guy who was going around coming to get people, hey, the doors are open, follow me to the main dining area. So he came to me and followed me. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went, to the main dining area. I was escorted to my table, and it was a single table. And it was me, well, in the part of the dining room that I was at, it was me and another guy who were at single tables, and everybody else had like families or couples. I mean, it was all kinds of people there. And it's funny because people like, how does it feel to sit in like sort of like a fancy area by yourself? And I didn't feel any kind of way. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel depressed. I actually felt kind of good, kind of like, like, look at me, like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, doing this. Even though you were uncomfortable with your first shawl, but you're sitting here, you're doing this. So yeah, I was proud of myself. So this is the Christmas Eve dinner, if you can see that envelope. You guys can see that. And the menu, yeah, it was all kinds of stuff on this menu. Can you guys see that? Hopefully you can see. Hopefully it's showing up and not backwards. Yeah, but if it's showing up backwards, so it says Christmas Eve dinner, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's like 8. The eighth course is like a variety of desserts. They had like 2 long tables full of desserts, but the rest of the dinner was like, they served you, and at the table there was 3 wine glasses, so there was like wines based on what you were eating. So they would come tell you what this wine was for, which courses it was for. When the courses were done, they would take away that glass, and then they would come pour in the second glass. It was pretty interesting. So the first course was like a creme brulee, some kind of apple baked brioche. And I just tasted everything. Because I was like, I'm here. I might as well just go ahead and eat it. It was the kind of food that you didn't really know what it was when you were eating unless you read the menu. The next dish was line caught squid. And listen, I don't eat squid. I don't eat stuff. But it was actually tasty. I was just trying anything in front of me. I was going to eat it. So I basically ate all of it. And then the third dish was some kind of cauliflower with truffle and champagne sauce. Everything was really tasty and very fancy. And then we had some codfish with turnip greens, chickpeas, and calf's foot stew. It was good too. And then they had the Yateman homemade bread with butter and olive oil. I don't know if that was like to cleanse your taste, your what do they call it? Cleansing your palate. I don't know why we had bread midway, but we did. And then we had some venison with some balsamic, raspberry, spring onion, and actually it was melt in your mouth. Delicious. And then we had some kind of, they said a special Christmas rabanada. I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's a Portuguese sweet toast with pine nuts. And it had some kind of wine or something. So I don't remember what that was, but I know I ate it. Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah. And then it was a variety of Christmas desserts, which was just so much stuff, all over the place. So that was Christmas Eve. And the thing about this dinner, oh my gosh, we're supposed to start eating around 8. I think we started around 8:20. And we did not even start desserts till like midnight. I mean, it was a long dinner. And I was exhausted. And I was full because it was like, you're eating all these courses. But by the time dessert came, I was so tired and so full. But I wanted to go see what they had anyway because you had to get up. Everything else was served except for the desserts. And I was like, I just want to go see what they have. But I was exhausted after all of that. It was just a lot, like a big production. So, I want to backtrack again. So, checking into the room, they left this nice little, card for me. And it said, Dear golf family, as we celebrate this festive season, we wish you a peaceful and memorable evening. May the comfort of our hotel provide the perfect setting to celebrate the special season. It's a pleasure to have you with us. The team in the Yeatman wishes you happy holidays. So it was a nice little card that they left. And then they left this on the bed. It was tied up in like bows. But the room also had a large bathtub. So they left this bar of soap. It's a vanilla latte. And it's made by this company. It's made in Portugal. So I thought that was a nice touch in your room. And you also got, I guess this is some port wine. Yeah, it is. 10-year-old tawny port, aged for 10 years. So you got a bottle of wine. And you got this, it was something like a Christmas loaf. I ate some of it. It wasn't a sweet bread because it wasn't that sweet, but it was really delicious. So you got that in your room as well. So nice little touches, except for the water and stuff. Okay, so the next morning I went to the Christmas buffet for breakfast in the breakfast room, and it was really laid out. It was nice. The food was fresh. I had way too many pastries because they were all so delicious, and just a nice setup. No omelet station or nothing like that, but they had like hot food. So everything was freshly prepared, and they were constantly bringing out stuff, constantly replacing stuff. So it was really, once again, the service is really good. The service in the dining room for the Christmas Eve dinner was good, but it was just so slow. Oh my gosh, so slow. But anyway, so next morning I'm having breakfast, and I had a massage scheduled for maybe 1 or 2. I can't remember. I stayed in bed, slept in as late as I could without missing breakfast. Went to go eat. Then I was getting ready for my massage. And the thing about those hotels is that, you wear your robe to the massage. So you don't come in there with your clothes. Most people wear their robes. So I put my robe on my slippers, and I had a swimsuit on underneath, and went to my massage. And before that, I decided I was going to go early so I can get into the dry sauna, which was really nice. Yeah, the dry sauna was really nice. So did that, and I can't remember her name, but I'm sure they wrote it down because I would go back to this girl. The room was very nice. It was very relaxing. Sometimes the music in a massage is like hit or miss, but the music was like on point. Okay, so the atmosphere was really good. And the massage bed was kind of like heated. So, although the room wasn't hot, but when you're like, just in a little disposable underwear and you're just under a sheet, you could get kind of cold. But because bed, not the bed, the table, massage table was heated, and it was like, she said, was it too hot? I said, no, it was like perfect. It didn't get hot. It was just like a nice warm temperature. So that was nice. So the setting up of the massage was just really good. But her technique was amazing. She was doing stuff with her hands. She did kind of like some pressure point things. She used her forearms, but not like in an aggressive way. Everything was like just the right pressure, not too hard, not too soft. And it wasn't one of those, I've had massages where they just like rubbing on you like this, just rubbing on you, like they about to start a fire or something. Even though like your skin is burning because all they doing is rubbing. No technique at all. Hers was pure technique, all technique. Now I get a lot of massages. I've had massages in all different parts of the world, in all kinds of places. And I have to say, that's rated one of the best. That's right up there in the top 10 massages. I've had a lot of massages. That was a good massage because she knew what she was doing. It was very technical. So that massage the price on it was 150 euros, but I had like a coupon. With my room came like a 150 euro credit. So I think I had to pay like $30. It might have been like gratuity and taxes or whatever, but I had to pay $30. And it was it 60 or 90 minutes? Must have been 60 minutes. Yeah. But it was good. She knows what she's doing. So yeah, if I go back there, I would want the same person. Yeah. Yep. So did that. And then I had some time to go back to my room and relax, and decided to go for a walk because it's right near the Wow district, and went down there for a walk a little bit. And it was too crowded. It wasn't really crowded. It was just like tourists everywhere. You could just tell they were tourists. And I was like, I do not want to be in this kind of environment. So I came back up, went back to the hotel, checked out, got my bag, and came back to my apartment and put on my comfy holiday onesie here and watched like holiday movies. Watched a lot of Netflix holiday movies. I love holiday movies. So I was feeling very relaxed from the massage. And what did I end up eating? I think I had some stuff. I might have made a quick stir fry or something, because I don't think I ordered any food. I think I whipped up something quickly here in the kitchen that I had in the fridge. Yeah. So had a nice little dinner, and I was good. I was so good, and had spent, I think, the majority of the week in my apartment just relaxing, just watching movies, just chilling, doing long video talks with my son who's in Thailand. So talking to family members, catching up with people, just chilling, just totally relaxed. And then New Year's Eve, I was going back and forth about whether or not I wanted to go downtown, which is not far from me, maybe 10-minute walk, 15 minutes at the most, to see the fireworks. I was like, because they don't start till like 12, the fireworks. But they had like bands and stuff down there. And I was like, do I want to go deal with the crowd? And I was like, well, Mary, it's your first New Year's. So 11, as I was laying here on the couch watching a movie, 11:15 p.m., I decided I'm going to go watch the fireworks. So I dressed in all these layers, because I don't want to freeze out there. And actually, I was pretty warm because I guess the crowd, whatever, it wasn't that cold out at all. very festive. People had coolers. Some people were like dressed up like they had probably been to parties or whatever, or been down there partying with the bands, the live bands that were down there. So you saw all kinds. You saw families. You saw people dressed up in like, fancy outfits. People, drinks. I mean, it was just like a big, large party. And as I was walking to the party, to the holidays, festivities, the New Year's Eve fireworks, there was like a crowd of people and like a band. So I was following the band of people, and I was just following this group, just, following the crowd because the crowd was moving, right? And then we got to this intersection. They were going straight, and I was like, no, I don't want to go that far deep into the crowd. I want to stay up here towards the front so when it's time to leave, I could, leave. So I cut off. And because I was so late getting down there, most of the people were down there. So I saw some people cutting a pathway through the crowd. So I just jumped in behind them and was walking with them to get through the crowd until I got to a designated spot where I decided I was just going to stand. And then for some reason, I was like, oh, let me go see what's going on the stage. That was not a good idea because once I got down there closer, the crowd got tighter. And one thing about me is that I'm a little claustrophobic. Not a little, probably a lot. And so all of a sudden, like in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, there's too many people. I was like, no, you're not going to freak out. Take a deep breath. You can breathe. You can see. Everything's going to be okay. So I made a little space in between me and some people that were around me, make sure nobody could get in front of me or whatever. I was like, okay, you're good. You're good. And I just talked myself out of it because there was no way I was going to be able to move out of that crowd. Not at that particular moment because it was getting close to midnight and people were getting excited. The band people, it came back out. I could not move. I had to just stand there. So I did fireworks show, fantastic. It was an experience. It wasn't just loud and just fireworks. I mean, I just felt, I don't know, I think I felt free. I felt relieved, and I felt, wow, okay, this is your life now. You're here in Europe. When you first went to Alicante, you wanted to be in this sort of environment. You wanted to be where you could walk around into cafes and have this kind of European life, and here you are doing it. So yeah, I just felt a little emotional out there for some reason as I'm getting emotional talking about it, but everybody was festive. I didn't feel unsafe. I felt totally safe. Nobody was rowdy. Even if people were bumping into each other, everybody was saying, excuse me. It was just a nice atmosphere, just really nice. And when it was over, of course, the crowd started moving. And that's another thing, the crowd patrol, the way they were managing the crowd was also very good. And they were like sending people to just one street, going up the street. And I looked up that street and that crowd was like moving like this, like barely moving. I was like, oh no, I am not going to even attempt to go that way. And they had another street barricaded off. I said, okay, I'm just going to stand here and wait because no need getting into a crowd and just moving like this. So I'm just going to stand here to the side and see if they open this other street. And maybe 5 minutes later, because the crowd was so big and they needed to get the people out of the area, the people that wanted to leave, a lot of them were still staying because the bands were still playing. But then they decided to open the other barricades. And that's the way I wanted to go home anyway. It was closer to where I was living. So I was like, boom. I was right there at the great spot. I was able to freely walk up the street to get back home. But once again, the streets were full. It was crowded, but it wasn't a rowdy crowd. It was a pleasant crowd and a festive crowd. And so I got home around 12:30 and didn't feel unsafe walking home. Was glad I went, and it was just a fantastic experience. So, so I guess, I just want to say that, you know, sometimes your life is, I guess, might turn out a little different than what you thought it was going to turn out, or things might look a little different for you, or you might be starting a new season, starting a new chapter. I mean, don't stress about it. Just kind of like go with it, you know? And you don't always need to rely on somebody else. You don't always need to have a crowd. If there's something you want to do, just do it. And I think you'll just be pleasantly surprised. So that was my holiday. I chose to be alone. It was intentional, and it was a good experience. It allowed me to just be, to just be, yeah, just be. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. This is where I'm at. This is where I am right now, here in Portugal. So if you are a woman and you are thinking about your next chapter, trying to decide what you want to do, looking for support, or someone else is going through the same thing that you are going through, you are not alone. You don't have to be alone. I've created a private space just for us to have those conversations, and you are welcome to join me whenever you want to. All right? All right, so I will put the link to the hotel if you want to watch the tour of the hotel, the 5-star Yateman Hotel. And I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Ciao, ciao.